If you could only eat one last meal before you died, what would it be? Death row inmate Edward Ernest Hartman chose a Greek salad, linguine with white clam sauce, cheesecake with cherry topping, and garlic bread. This is Death Row Diner. I probably don't need to show anybody how to make a salad, but I'll do it anyway. Chop your lettuce, add it to a salad spinner basket, wash it, and give it a good spin. Nobody wants a wet salad. Greek salads usually have tomatoes, cucumbers, and red onions. I'm obviously going to leave out the red onions. Whatever you're using, just cut them into bite-sized pieces. Then add them to the bowl with your lettuce, and then add a couple olives, or if you're like me, a whole bunch of olives. The great thing about a Greek salad is it's mostly olives. And cheese, of course. Crumble a bunch of feta cheese in there as well. When your salad is basically a charcuterie plate with a little lettuce on the side, you know you're doing it right. Drizzle on as much or as little dressing as you like. You can toss it if you want, but I don't know, it's dressing. It kind of leaks around all the bits and pieces you got there, so you don't really need to. And that's a pretty decent looking salad. For the garlic bread, we're not going to make our own bread from scratch this time, but we are going to make our own garlic butter from scratch. Take a couple TBSPs of butter, and then crush in a couple cloves of garlic. We're going to sprinkle in a little parsley for some color. It doesn't really add anything to the flavor, but if you've ever seen garlic bread with little green flakes in it, it's probably parsley. An herb that's almost entirely for the looks. Mash it together until it's smooth, and then we're going to spread it on a baguette that's sliced in half. It should go without saying that this is salted butter. If you're using unsalted, you might want to add a sprinkle of salt as well. Then we're going to bake it at 400 degrees until it's brown and crispy. Getting started with the linguine, we're going to drain our can of clams in a mesh strainer, making sure to reserve the juice. Bring some water in a shallow pot to a boil and add some salt. Some people will say to boil your pasta in a really large pot of water. It's actually better to do it in as shallow a pot of water as you can. The concentration of starch in the pasta cooking water will be a lot higher that way, which will help make a nice creamy emulsified sauce. Add some olive oil and butter to a pan on medium-low heat. Then crush in a couple cloves of garlic. After cooking for a couple minutes, add your clams to the pan. After cooking for a few minutes, we're going to add some grated lemon zest and some Italian seasoning. Continue cooking, then add a splash of white wine and cook for another couple minutes until the alcohol evaporates. Now that our pasta is almost done, but not quite, we're going to add it to the pan, as well as the reserved clam juice and a big splash of the pasta cooking water. Toss it around and continue to cook for a couple more minutes. Squeeze in a couple TSPs of lemon juice, and add a couple TBSPs of cold butter. We're going to mix this in so that it gradually melts all throughout. Continue cooking until most of the liquid is emulsified onto the noodles. Now that everything's ready, it's time to plate up. And there we have it. For the cheesecake, we're just going to use the cheesecake that I made in the last video. The meal as a whole is okay. I love pasta, but this probably wouldn't be my choice of how to prepare it. It's kind of like shrimp scampi, but less good. So if you're on death row, just spring for the shrimp. Garlic bread is great, of course, one of the greatest foods there is. Garlic bread should probably be in every last meal. And if you're gonna have a salad, a Greek salad's the way to go. Again, it's mostly cheese and olives, so what's not to love? Cheesecake is a great choice for dessert, no denying that. So yeah, it's okay. I have to give it a 5 out of 10.